Yeah, welcome back to Captain Reviews. This is episode number 4, and so we're going to go through the next 5 of the creations that have been posted to my Discord. So we'll go ahead first, and we will look at the Discord here. So uh, this is the next one on here is the BJW Rescue Coax Helicopter. That's by Jake, 19181. From Bockscar, we have the Kestrel J3 Cub. After that, we have the Ladybug MK1. We have another one by Bockscar. Gonna need infinite fuel. Not really keen on doing infinite fuel stuff. Prefer no glitches, but we'll give it a run. And then we'll finish up with the Sealeg RHIB. So as usual, let's go through the we'll go through all the workshop pages here. So let's go ahead and look at these workshop pages. So the first one here is going to be the BJW Rescue Coax Helicopter. And so quickly just go through some of these pics. Looks like a nice little small rescue helicopter. It's by Jacob 19821. So let's go through here. Starter helicopter features autopilot, altitude hold, refueling, cost $87.84, so nice and cheap. Good for a starter. Startup hotkey 1, throttle up, press up arrow. So that's your collective Discord and other Discord there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at this one. All right, if I can find the tab, we'll be all set here. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm just at FJ Warner Docks here. Hopefully I can get them all out of here. Should be able to easily fly planes out of here and helicopters. So let's go ahead and look at the first item. All right, so let's look really quick in the workbench. As exterior seating for those who are a little bit more brave. So hold 6 for rescue. Go ahead and we'll drop it down to the ground and spawn it. All right, we'll take a quick walk around here. Nice paint job. As looks very economical for a beginner save here with only $8,700. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to reference the starter procedure. So have hotkey 1, throttle up, press arrow up for collective. So there's 1. Okay, press 1, throttle up is 2. Okay. I'm pressing 2. 2 is showing autopilot. Okay, I think it's not the actual key. I have to press 1, then manually throttle up. Okay. So you have to manually shut the starter off. All right, so we're up and running. We have a map screen here: fuel, outside temp, altitude, speed, meters per second, RPS, engine temp. Small keypad is not labeled. Toggle button is not labeled, so I don't know what any of these do. I assume they're part of the autopilot, but without them being labeled, I really can't tell. So, compass sensor right there. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll just give this a quick flight. So brakes are 3. Autopilot, I assume, is, yep, that's the gyro. All right, so we'll go gyro off, and I'll kind of see how it flies with the gyro off. All right, so it is, so it's kind of locking my pitch, which, you know, okay. Okay, so that was autopilot on. So I had autopilot on, I think. Let me see if I can manually control this. Okay, so I had the autopilot on, so I don't know. It must be, oh, it's probably going to the 0-0 position. So probably set your waypoint and have it go to it. Let me test that out really quick. So let's just put a waypoint here. Let's go ahead and set that. And let's go ahead and press 2. Yeah, so it's gonna go. That's when you press the autopilot, it goes to that. Let's just set a altitude of 65 feet. I don't know what this toggle button does. Okay, so that is altitude, and that's the altitude hold button. So, yep. So, as you can see, it's just going to rotate around our position. So, that's a good little simple autopilot. Just you need to put in the waypoint, press 2, it will go there. This is altitude hold, and that is the button. So I would recommend label your buttons. Makes it a lot easier. All right, so let's take off all the autopilot, and I'll just fly it a little bit. Flies pretty well. You know, it's nice and stable. I would assume that the gyro is, yeah, that looks like the gyro is constantly on. You know, I certainly prefer having it selectable, but, you know, especially as a beginner helicopter, it's nice to have it on just because, you know, until somebody gets kind of comfortable with the flying mechanics of the particular vehicle and flying in Stormworks in general, it's kind of nice to, you know, if it's default on, I prefer it, you know, selectable just so that you can shut it off if you want to. But it's good little starter helicopter. It's nice and economical. It's inexpensive. It does what it needs to do. It has really everything you need for a starter helicopter. So really like it. I would just, only criticism would be label the buttons. That just makes it a little bit easier to figure out. Even my own stuff, I often will change things around, and if I didn't label my own buttons, I would have no clue where anything is. You know, I go from my own vehicles from one to the next, and I forget where I put stuff, and so by labeling the buttons, it makes it really quick. Even if you built it yourself, labeling your buttons helps. All right, so great little vehicle. I really enjoy it. Let's look at it from the outside again. Yeah, so it's a really nice little beginner helicopter. That'll be good for a starter world. All right, so let's go into the next workshop link here. And the next one is going to be the J3 Cub, the Kestrel J3 Cub. So let's go through a couple pics here. So it looks like the Piper Cub. Long range, short takeoff, STOVL. Short takeoff, vertical landing, interesting. 2 seats, user friendly, by Bockscar. Piper J3 Cub is an American light aircraft that was built between 38 and 47 by Piper. Aircraft has simple, lightweight design, which gives a good low-speed handling properties. Short field performance. Cub is Piper's aircraft most produced model. Nearly 20,000 built in the U.S. Its simplicity, affordability, and popularity invokes comparison to the Ford Model T. Aircraft is high-wing, strut-based monoplane with a large air rectangle wing. It is most often powered by air-cooled flat 4-piston engine driving a fixed-pitch propeller. Its fuselage is a welded steel frame covered in fabric, seating 2 people in tandem. The Cub was designed as a trainer. It had great popularity in the role, and as a general aviation aircraft due to its performance, it was well suited for a variety of military use, such as reconnaissance, liaison, and ground control. It was produced in large numbers during World War II as the L-4 Grasshopper. Many Cubs are still flying today. Cubs are highly prized as bush aircraft. The aircraft's standard chrome yellow paint came to be known as Cub Yellow or Lock Haven Yellow from Wikipedia. It's good to put your sourcing. I like that. The plane is based off the Piper Cub. It's small and is made mainly for exploration. 361-liter fuel, runs at about 18 RPS. Top speed 160 knots. It's probably quite a bit faster than the real one. I can't remember what the real one goes. I've never flown a Piper Cub. I always wanted to. I would want a more modern one if I was to buy one. Just they're getting pretty old now. Startup, turn on engine, activate nav lights. If dark, turn on landing lights and backlights. Turn off parking brake. Space is automatically on when spawned, so I always like that to have it release parking brake. That's good. So fly. Credit to Chaotic Howler for making the trailer and taking some screenshots. Check them out. So that's good. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at the J3 Cub. All right, where are we at here? There it is. All right, so let's take a quick look in the workbench. So it looks nice and simple, nice and clean. Really good work on the XML edited tail plane for the empennage. That looks really nice. It's always tough to do a compact, small aircraft in game. All right, so let's go ahead and spawn it in. Take a quick look at it in here. It's a little dark in this hangar. I really like the work on the landing gear. Looks nice. Good work on the XML. Looks really nice. So let's go ahead and jump in. It's nice to have seating for 2. Always tough in these small builds to get them set up where they'll actually where you can fit everything in, because you know the tighter they are, the harder it is. So let's see. Nav lights, we'll do engine starter. Flaps. He didn't say put any flaps down for takeoff, so I'll just leave them up. Altitude setting. Backlights. We'll turn backlights on. Alright, let's see. AD roll, WS pitch, left, right, yaw, up, down is throttle. Parking brakes, altitude hold, and heater. Alright, compass there. Can almost see what that is. Alright, sounds good. So let's press space bar to release the brake. Let's get out of here. Alright, so we're up. Nice, and it's very stable. It's got a little pitch down tendency, but that's fine. That's something you can easily trim out, which every time you do a pitch or power setting, it feels to me like the gyro is on. So it starts with the gyro on. I can confirm this. Yeah, it's definitely gyro's on, I would say. Let's see. Yeah, gyro's on. I always like the ability to shut it off, but that's just personal preference, so there's certainly nothing wrong with it. It makes it a little bit more approachable if you can shut it off. Oh, I did forget there's an airfield here. I completely forgot that FJ Warner has an airfield. So I'm chopping the throttle. Let's bang down some flaps. I would go the other way in the flaps gauge just for realism's sake. They tend to go the other way, but that's just me. Tend to come down as you come down with flaps, but that's just preference. A little bit sensitive on the throttle, which isn't a terrible thing. You just have to kind of account for it, that when I pretty much press down, it almost sounds like it's completely chopping the throttle. What's our airspeed? Yeah, so we're going nice and slow here. We're going 70 knots. With that much flap, as you can see, it's supposed to be a stall aircraft, short takeoff and landing. Again, I can't glide in game as much as I would. People give it a little bit more crap than give the game more crap than it needs to, that they need to for that. So I would make the throttle a little less sensitive, just because, you know, like I'm having to tap it on, off, but if you look, alright, so you see how short I can land. So that's actually something you could do in the real Cub. I probably did from about there to there. That's a really nice short landing. So this is a great aircraft. It behaves really well. Let's try doing a takeoff. I'll do it in third person, which could be a nightmare for me. I usually don't do well with third person, but with the flaps all the way down. Okay, perfect. So that does a really nice slow takeoff. So yeah, this is really fun. This is nice, and it's simple. It works well. I would just, you know, personal preference, I would make the gyro selectable, and the only issue I'm having is with this chopped throttle here. You know, in real life, especially something with this much wing area, and you know, such a light aircraft, you'd have no problem gliding, but in game we can't glide, so you just do more power on, and the throttle being a little bit, tiny bit sensitive is tough for me to like I have to turn it on and off, but it's like you see, I'm having no problems. So this is a great aircraft. I really enjoy this. It flies really well. It functions really well. It feels like a little high lift aircraft. So this is really good. I really like this. Those would be my only suggestions: is selectable gyro, and a little bit less sensitivity on the throttle would allow me to more granularly control my throttle, and so that way I could just gently reduce throttle. It's almost like I'm chopping the throttle, pulling it all the way out, so giving it no throttle, all the way throttle, no throttle, all the way throttle. But great aircraft, flies really well. As you see, I had no problem, you know, landing on the center line, short field landing, no problem. Flew it in the hangar, landed, you know, no problem, no damage. So, you know, great little aircraft. Excellent work on that. So let's go ahead and we'll recall this. And I want to bring it over here just so I could recall it into this bench. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go to the next one here. So next one is the Ladybug. So Ladybug Mark 1, the Flying Menace. That's ominous. All right, so just picture the Ladybug here. Ladybug Mark 1, Flying Menace. Floating text. If you have two names, you know, we all do, one on Steam and one on Discord. You know, when you post your vehicle, if you'd like, just tell me which you prefer to be called by. I usually will say both names, but it's by floating text. Have you dreamed of flying flying like a bug? Now you can. Introducing the Ladybug Mark 1. It can walk, it can fly, it can tell you the definition of insanity. Okay, maybe not the last one. Equipped with a coaxial rotor system to fly where you please. Compact dashboard tells you everything you need to know, like how fast you are zooming or how high. Altitude hold system is also installed with a scale to see if you reach the altitude you wanted. And now the special offer: every customer, I assume, gets a fancy pilot helmet to zoom around like in the hit movie Top Gun. Don't hesitate and order now. Easy to use, just use WASD to walk where you please, and if you want to fly, check your hover height and press spacebar and off you go. Okay, so it looks like height. It looks like you have to enter in the altitude and press spacebar, so it's kind of like works off an altitude hold. If you order now, you get an extra special international version where you can set the speed dial to your desired measuring unit. You can set it in the editor on the underside microcontroller, the right one. Don't hesitate to order now. We don't take any form of responsibility for the inevitable crash. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the Ladybug. All right, so let's make sure it's all the way to the ground. All right, so ooh, it's nice and tiny. I was assuming this was going to be large. This is cool how small it is. That's really neat. Yeah, with the head, I was curious how you could get the head in there with it being bigger, but I like the size of it. This is nice and tiny. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That's how one gets in. Ask and I will receive. That scares me being that close to the rotors. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to find where the controls are here. All right. Control diagram's lacking a little bit here, so. All right, so let's start by walking. So that's neat. I can turn right. I can turn left. Very cool. It's a really cool build. I like that. I like how small it is. You know, I was thinking this was going to be much larger than it is, but it's really nice and small. It's neat how it you can walk. Let's see. So hover height. Let's go to. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what any of these digits mean. That must be meters. Space. Hover height 1 and 2. Okay, so I can also control it there. Up down pitch. Ooh, that's going to be interesting for me. Pitching. Roll. Ooh, so okay, so it's right hand. That's a little bit different for me. Space. Fly. So you just press space and it's going to hold that altitude. Theoretically. Okay, so you're just... So essentially, you press space, it starts up the rotors, and then you can set the height with either the throttle or 1 or 2. So here's my roll, and pitch, and AD is turn. Okay, so this is not unintuitive. This isn't bad for you know, for controls, just because you have to be able to walk as well. Oh, that's neat. The legs kind of tuck in. This is fun. I like this. This is pretty simple. You know, it's taking me a second. I keep doing the wrong controls because I'm not used to it, like you can see there. But, you know, I understand because you have to be able to walk too. You know, so this is really cool. Let me go in first person and fly a little bit. Viz is a little tough if you're... Oopsie, I keep yawing with the wrong controls just because I'm not used to this. But I certainly understand you have to be able to put the walk controls on here as well. So this is a fun little build. I like it a lot. You know, I don't do too much fantasy stuff. You know, but I've always really liked the fantasy stuff. So this is really cool. I like this. I like this a lot. So let's go ahead and do a landing here. So we'll start decreasing the height. I want to see what the legs do. Yep, so the legs automatically splay out when you get down. That's really cool. And then we're back to walking. And so this is a really fun build. I really like this. This is a lot of fun. Really cool. I'm really happy how small it is. You know, it's tough to get small builds, and especially, you know, I can imagine all the legwork is really cool. Is you know, really difficult. So this is a really fun little build. I love it a lot. Thanks for posting it. Let's go ahead and we'll go to our next one here. All right, so next one up here is the working kind of old turbine engine train. This one we need infinite fuel, no engine overheating, and you're fun. So I'd prefer stuff that you don't need infinite, but we'll certainly check it out. Requires infinite fuel, no engine overheating. Okay. It's just a proof of concept. However, it'd be cool to have these back fully functioning in game. So I learned a bit. The original turbine, it needs infinite fuel and cannot cool, but it works. Okay, so you know, it's kind of a test platform. You know, it seems like Bockscar is just starting to work on turbines, so that would be why, you know, it needs some of these things. Is starting to figure out you know, how to work the turbine. But this is by Bockscar again. All right, so let's go ahead and let's load that up. We're on the tracks here, so let's make it so that I can see. I'm going to have to select this and turn it around so that it's facing the right direction. We'll do a quick little run with this. All right, make sure I have everything. I should. And I'm just going to face it the correct direction here. All right, I can barely see the tracks. That's the thing with this hangar, is it's hard to see where I'm putting things. So I have to kind of zoom in and place it. So right there. All right, so where are we at here? Let's check infinite fuel, engine overheating off. All right, it did grab the, did it grab the rails? It did grab the rails. Okay, good. So let's see, key on. All right, so apparently, why does it have, why do I need starter constantly on? I don't know what's up with the starter being constantly on. Yeah, okay, it shut itself off. All right, and it's already derailed, so. We'll take it back here. I'll give it one little bit of run here. And then we'll go on and we'll move to the next one here. Let me just switch this over here. Didn't get much of a fair shake just because it immediately wanted me to go on a side spur. So let me just try to make sure that I don't end up on the side spurs that I don't want to be on. So I'll give it one quick run here. And then we'll hit the next one. Space is brakes, so. So once it gets up to speed, it shuts the starter off. Speed, about 40, I don't know what units that is, meters per second maybe. So just a little turbine train kind of workbench. Seems like Bockscar is trying to get better with turbines, and that's what that's all about. I'm curious what all of these... So he's starting it with motors. Interesting. Curious. I'm going to look at this really quick here. Where is it? There it is. There it is right there. Let me look inside it really quick. I'm curious. It's probably ducted fans, I imagine. What is this here? Yeah, I have no clue what is going on in here. These don't appear to be turbines at all, so. No, it says turbine. It's just probably XML edited. I don't know. Interesting. All right, so this is an interesting build. All right, let's go ahead and we will go to the final one for the video. And the next one is the Sealeg RHIB. This is a cool little boat. I was looking at this one on Discord. It's actually based off a real vehicle. As you can see, kind of a cool little design. It's from Zhang. Any update to this vehicle will be noticed in the comments section. One day while surfing the internet, I found the Sealeg boat. It is power deployable wheels, so it can simply drive on the beach's ramp. So I just spent a short while on it while I made this RHIB, loosely based on one in service with the Coast Guard at Hibiscus Coast with retrofitted details. Kind of the first boat I did serious in the game, so please tell me if there's anything to be approved. Features: capable of exceeding 36 knots. It's realistic speed, amphibious with increased land speed capabilities. Basic equipment: some are hidden above engine. Basic radio and transponder located. Kind of small. Caution: please don't use such a small RHIB during extreme weather. Copy that. Reference: 1 New Jersey 1x1 map and link. So it's always good to accredit. So that's good. All right. So let's go ahead and let's look at this vehicle. So let's go ahead and I'll take this off here. And we'll go ahead and drop it down and we will spawn it. Alright, so was not much telling me how to control it. So I'm going to have to kind of do it. Space is parking brake. I don't know if it's on or off. Prop reverse is 1. Transponder located 2. Heater. Nav lights. Put that on 4. Power to propeller, power to leg. Let's go 6. Up, that raises and lowers the legs. Okay. Let's put those down. So it appears that the brake is off by default. So this is neat. Steers pretty well. This is a cool little vehicle here. Let's go ahead and go right into the drinky. Alright. And then, I don't know, it says power to propeller. I don't know if I need to press it just because it's running. So really nice and fast, maneuverable, as you can see. There's a good outboard. Yeah, this performs really well. I like it. Let's kind of look at some interior details. So seating for 5 passengers, 6, 7 passengers. So that's good. I like this vehicle. It's nice and simple. It's easy to operate. And amphibious is always nice to see that, especially in game. You know, the ability to just quickly go from sea to land is nice. Let's go ahead and put the wheels down. And we'll just come back up on the land here. But yeah, so this is really cool. I can see this especially useful in a beginner game. I'll just check the price on the way out. Yeah, but this is a really cool vehicle. It's pretty interesting that it, you know, being amphibious, it's really cool, and it seems like it would be a great rescue vehicle. Let me just recall it, and I'll see what the price is. $16,453. So yeah, this is cheap enough. You could easily use this in a career game. So again, another 5 great builds. Really liked looking at everybody's stuff. Great as usual. So thank you for posting your builds. Again, you can post them on Discord, and I will review them in order. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.